Hello everyone, it's Lee here from Wired for Survival with a short tabletop review on the ammunition that you should have during an emergency or apocalyptic end of the world type scenario. I get asked what sort of ammunition I should have and how much I should have, and it's a very hard question to answer because it really depends on where you live, what you're allowed to have, and what's common in your country. For example, 22 long rifle are pretty much standard, easy to find anywhere in the world. Okay, you should at least have probably 1,000 rounds of this stuff laying around. It's small, you can pack a lot of it away, and it's a great little survival cartridge, been around for over 100 years. I think this is a must. You have to have something that runs 22 long rifle. That's number one. 22 Magnum, not so much. You know, most farmhouses around will have a 22 rifle, maybe not so much a 22 Magnum, but still worth having a few rounds laying around the place. Just remember, what you don't have, you might be worth having a few packets to use as barter, because there might be someone that might have a 22 Magnum and they want something that you have and you can swap it. Another thing that's very common, especially in the shooting scene, and also pistol shooting, is 9mm. 9mm is very common. It's worth having some of that as well. If you live somewhere in the States, 45 is more common. So you would probably have 45 and 9mm and 45 long Colt. Why? Because it's common in your country. 45 long Colt is not common in other countries. So buy what's common in your country. Don't go getting some weird wildcat caliber, because when things get tough, it's going to get hard to put ammunition and keep your firearm running. 7.62 by 39, probably one of the widest distributed rounds out there. It's used by good and bad guys around the world. Now, here in Australia, we can only have this now in a bolt action rifle. It's still a very good mid-caliber cartridge, and I like it a lot. It's very easy to reload. Projectiles are relatively easy to get hold of, and it's a very light recoil round. Good on the shoulder, and especially great if kids and females want to shoot it. It's not a very hard recoil firearm or round to use. I would have, if I lived in the States, I would have that. There's a lot of AK variant rifles getting around. That's worth having. The next thing, 223. If you live anywhere, 223 is very common. It goes in all the AR platform rifles. A lot of bolt action rifles are chambered for this. A lot of kangaroo shooters in Australia use the 223. It's very easy to reload and quite common and cheap to run. Good little round, love it. Now, here's where we go. 308, very common. I don't have a problem with having this. Also, this is a hand load. It's my experience that you should learn how to do reloading, especially in a situation where ammunition is hard to find. It's worth stacking up on primers as well, powder, and the means to reload your own ammunition. Just remember that one day that reloading may be a skill that someone else does not possess, that you'd be able to swap services for, and a barter situation, in a grid down situation, where you can swap some reloaded ammunition for maybe some meat or some fish or something, or some work done to your house or something. So it's worth learning how to reload your own ammunition. So not as well as just having ammunition, have projectiles and the means to make them or cast them yourself, powder and primers as well. 308, very common. Especially in the States, this is worth having around as well, is the 30-30 Winchester. It's been around for a long time. It has been superseded, but it's still very popular as a mid-range caliber round. Has the same sort of ballistics as the 7.62 by 39, and you have to use round nose or flat nose ammunition. But once again, you can actually put 308 rounds or 308 projectiles into a 30-30 and fire them as long as they have a round nose, or at least a soft ballistic tip where they won't strike off inside the tube magazine. saying if you live in the Commonwealth countries, another common caliber is a 303 British. Not so much in the Americas, but more so in the Commonwealth countries. It is starting to dry up ex-military stuff, but you can buy production stuff over the counter, and it is reasonably easy to reload. Here in Australia, you're looking at $1.50, $1.80 per shot to buy the stuff over the counter, so it is worth reloading it yourself. Another two, when it comes to shotguns, the only two I would really worry about is 12 gauge and 410 shotgun. I wouldn't worry about your 20 gauges and all these other weird 10 gauge and all that sort of stuff, because it's just not common enough. With a 12 gauge, you literally go to any farm, anywhere, and find someone would have a packet of this stuff laying around in someone's shed, and same as the 410. It's easy to reload, and it's quite common. Pistol calibers, like as I said, back to the 9mm, there's a lot of it getting around very easy. So ask yourself a couple of questions. Where do I live? What's common in my country? And how much of it am I allowed to have? And can I get the components to reload this stuff? Because as soon as you go something like a 300 Blackout, it's been the long argument which is better, the AR-15 platform or the AK-47 platform. And then some bright spark has said, oh, well, why don't you just put a 7.62 head on a 223 case, and that's how the 300 Blackout was born. But in a grid down situation, there's not going to be, not everyone is going to be running a 300 Blackout round. It's going to be hard. So you might as well either have a 223, you might as well have a 223 AR or an AK. Don't get some weird thing in the middle, because it's not going to be common enough. The mags are different. It's just not common enough. Same as 22-250. I like the round, but more people have got 308s and 223s. That's why I don't own a 22-250. So I hope that's been of interest. And just remember that as a man, you have what it takes, and your responsibility to teach others never ends. Bye for now.